Okay, we're going to be taking a look at our grounded Boolean logic, trying to fix our mistake here for our taxi, because we only seem to be becoming grounded on the ground platform, not the collidable platforms. So see there, we become true. But if basically, maybe we need to change it so that our checkGrounded just flips our grounded Boolean and we only we would swap our grounded Boolean upon checkGrounded function, and then we only apply gravity if we're grounded. Which I think at the moment we're doing something kind of like that. We're using the grounded function to check or to flip the grounded Boolean, but we're applying gravity. Oh, that's it. That is what we're doing. We're not grounded, so something's going wrong here. Oh well. Let me see if we take that out. We say if checkGrounded with the floor platform turn to true. It's still not true. So why is that so busted? Check grounded. So instead of running the function here, checkGrounded, what if we just say self-grounded? Oh, we were printing only for the ground platform, that's why. Okay, so this might reveal the real Boolean there. Nope, it doesn't. Fuck. I thought that would be it. Here. Oh, here. Well. Self-grounded gets true. Fuck, man. I don't get why that's the case. That's so weird. It's swapping to grounded upon a ground platform, checkGrounded, but not our collidable platform. I feel like we gotta separate this out. So like if we're, see, I don't want to do that in the loop though, because that's just all the collidable platforms. And then we could say, hey, if we're grounded with the, oh, okay, I think I know what's going on. Well, because if we're setting our, I think the else was kind of screwing us. Because we can become ungrounded, so we need to check every frame if our checkGrounded is true. But the thing is, since we have platforms and ground, if we do it in one else statement, fuck, I don't know. It's like, I'm just trying to get it to say true when we're grounded. Well, it's like we should, since we're not falling, we should be grounded. That's what I don't get. Grounded should be true. Because if we're not falling, so something might be going on where we're actually applying gravity every frame incorrectly. We're applying gravity every frame, but since we're detecting the bottom collision, we're setting ourselves to become on top every frame. So it's like we're applying gravity every frame and then unapplying gravity every frame because our grounded Boolean is acting up. Part of me feels like we just need to redo it. Also, look, we bottom collide, so maybe we do our grounded after the bottom collision logic. Okay, so this is where I'm getting confused, is like we need to check the platforms. See, and the way I fixed this in the past was like, the problem is we're cycling through all the platforms and assigning the Boolean based on whether or not we're colliding with it. But the problem is, depending on the order of our code and depending on where we're at, we could overwrite the Boolean incorrectly. For example, if we're on the ground platform, we should be grounded. But if in our code we say, hey, cycle through the collidable platforms, which doesn't include the ground platform, cycle through the collidable platforms, and if we're not check grounded on any of those platforms, become grounded false, which, since we're standing on the bottom platform, we should be grounded true. So that's an example of what I think is going wrong. But I think maybe the bottom collision, we can do the grounded upon the bottom collision and then only flush our grounded to be false if we're not colliding with anything, if we're not bottom colliding with anything. I think that's the way to do it. So I'm going to take out these lines, and instead I'm going to keep gravity only applying, because even though this is acting wrong at the moment, when we fix the grounded Boolean, it should fix this problem. So when we're cycling through our platforms, of our collidable platforms, if we detect a bottom collision, we're going to be grounded. So the first thing we're going to do is set ourselves grounded to true. And then we need to check the ground platform. So if we're self check grounded on our ground platform, that's when we need to also swap our grounded to true. And then we need to check, we need to cycle through all the platforms. And if check grounded is false on any of them, or all of them rather, we need to make sure it's false on all of them. And if it's false on all of them, then our grounded gets set to false. But it only gets set to false if it's not grounded on any platform. So we can say for key platform in pairs, collidable platforms, we're going to cycle through and we're going to say, hey, are we check grounded with any of these platforms? Or check grounded on our ground platform? And if that's the case, So if we're not our check grounded is false on our platforms, and our check grounded is false on our ground platform, that's the only time we would flush our grounded to become false. And then with any luck, that will fix our Boolean. Nope. That's so weird that the bottom works. If we take out those two lines, does it turn to true upon the bottom? No. So the check grounded is working for the ground platform. Just for whatever reason. Oh, it's because we're overriding it. So what's happening is it's going through the platform and it's saying, hey, okay. So we need to, I know we had to fix this problem before, because what's happening is, let's say we're on platform 1, which is the first platform in our collidable platforms table. It would run this. Let's say we just walked off platform 1. See, the problem is the grounded isn't getting set to true on our collidable platforms. So what's really happening is we're cycling through the platform, our collidable platforms, and if we're on platform 1, it'll say, sure, we're grounded, but then it's cycling through the rest of the program, the rest of the platforms, and then by the time it gets to platform 6, check grounded for platform 6 returns false, therefore our grounded is overwritten as false. So we're never seeing that grounded become true. So we need a way of exiting our loop if we're grounded on any platform. So we need to say something like, yeah, how do we do that? Because like if we're by this loop, by the time we are grounded, we can say and not grounded. Because if we are grounded, we don't need to swap. We don't need to swap our Y. We don't need to swap our grounded. Fuck. I don't know if that'll work. Okay. Yeah, I'm confused on how to get this to work. I can like almost wrap my head around the problem. Let me see in our vulture class how we handled that. So look at this. We give ourselves a platform field called ground, and we feed in the platform that we're standing on into that field. So if we collide with a platform, then our field gets populated with said platform. And then where do we use this ground? So yeah, we're doing the same thing here where we're saying, hey, if we're not grounded, apply gravity. But where do we use the ground field? Okay. So, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So what we're doing in our vulture class differently is we're only running checkGrounded on the platform that we most recently are standing on. So that way we're not overriding our grounded to become false, cycling through all the platforms. We just populate our ground field with the platform object. Then we use that as an argument to our checkGrounded. And if we're not checkGrounded on that very platform, that's when we need to become not grounded and become falling. And then also what I do here is basically nullify our ground. Why I would do that there. Yeah, I don't know why I needed to flush the ground field with a dummy platform object. But I guess it's so that we don't keep overriding grounded to become false. When do we become grounded true? Only upon that bottom collision, yeah. And then we only false it if we're not grounded on the platform we most previously collided with. So let's do something similar, because this is exactly what I had to implement to fix the problem I'm running into because of the order of operations within the platform collision. And it's because we wouldn't have to do those shenanigans if our ground platform was part of our collidable platforms. It's just that it's the ground platform is the one object, the one platform object that will change size over time. So that's why I had separated it out. That, and because we were getting a bug where, since the ground platform is also the only platform that loops offside of the screen, the implementation of the platforms are actually two, like the ones that loop off screen are actually two different platforms. One that goes off the side of the screen, drawing it onto the screen, and the one that starts it on screen and draws it all the way off the screen. So they're not really looping, because we would get our vulture would hop when it would try to loop the screen if our platforms weren't long enough for it to walk off fully. So let's, oh my God, it's so hard to wrap my head around it. But yeah, this is a good template. So like, if we collide with a ground platform, we need to shift our height, give us the full height, become grounded, and then we're assigning, okay, yeah, so we've got to assign that twice. I've just got to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be back. This is a good start, though. This is what we need to be fixing. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the problem. It's because we're overriding our self-grounded Boolean depending on the platform and the order of operations we check for platform collision or check grounded function. So in our taxi class here, we need to check our ground platform for bottom collision in order to set our grounded Boolean. But then we need to run our check grounded on our ground platform and assign a field of ground to be equal to that ground platform object. So our field ground here gets populated with some dummy values of a platform instantiation. And then, so what we can say is, our taxi class now has a self.ground field of a platform object type, I guess. And then we can compare our vulture class to see when we do all of our magic. So the first thing we do is check for bottom collision on our ground platform. And if that's the case, we set our height, we set our y, we take away our y velocity, and we become grounded. So we need to have a corresponding logic for that, for the ground platform on our taxi. So where are we doing our bottom collision? Right here. On our ground platform, this is exactly what it is. If we bottom collide with our ground platform, we need to set our height to be equal to standing height. Yep, height is 24. We change our y and our dy. Yep. And then the last thing we need to do is become grounded. So if we say self-grounded becomes true upon a bottom collision with the ground platform, that should swap us to true when we're on the bottom platform. But if we look in our vulture, we've also got to assign our ground field with that ground platform object if we are check grounded with that ground platform. So we can say the same thing where we say, okay, we're populating our ground field with the proper ground platform. And we do that because we need to, let me see when we use our ground here. We only, right here, we only swap our grounded to become false if we're not grounded on the platform of our self.ground, which is the last platform we bottom collided with. So we're only going to be checking grounded. We're only going to be swapping grounded to false, therefore falling, only applying gravity if we're not grounded on the platform we most recently collided with. And now that I'm thinking about it, this isn't exactly right. Yeah, this isn't exactly right because our platforms that loop off the side. Oh, Lordy. Oh. Oh, this is hard. Because what I'm just thinking of now is that if the platforms are off the side, let's say we're on the right side of the screen, we bottom collide, our ground field will get populated with platform 4, let's say. Then we walk off screen. Now, since we're grounded, we're not applying gravity, so there's no bottom collision detected when we go off the side of the screen, come on the other side of the screen. And then the platform we're on, that we're checking to apply gravity for, on our self-ground field, it won't be registered as check grounded because we're only checking platform 4 when we're actually walking off platform 4L. because it loops and the way I did it. So I don't think that'll work. It might work in testing right now because we only walk off. I don't know. It might work in testing, but thinking about how the game is structured, knowing how the game is structured because I made it, makes me think that it's not going to work. So we would either need to do, well, we did it on vultures, right? If we got it to work on vultures, how come we wouldn't? I don't know. Let's keep going. Let's try. So we'll need to do this at some point, but let's keep going through. Right here, we need to, if we're grounded with our platform, so we cycle through our platforms. Right here, if we're grounded with our, see, this isn't the one. We already did this up here now. Right here, we have our check grounded with a ground platform, setting our ground field to true, not our grounded Boolean to true. So in our collidable platform collision, we say, hey, are we grounded with that very platform? If so, assign that very platform into our ground field and become grounded. And then we do top collide, bottom collide, left collide. So the first thing we check for is the grounded. And then oops. So if we're grounded with any given platform, we assign that platform to be our ground field. We become grounded. Then we check collision, which actually this should probably happen after the collision. Because we don't set our Y for the check grounded function to work properly until a bottom collision detection. So we detect bottom collision first, which would swap our Boolean. So we shouldn't need our Boolean here to become true there because we swap it upon a bottom collision. And then set our Y, set our... Okay, so if we're grounded on any given platform, that ground field gets populated with the platform that we last bottom collided with. And then we have, if we bottom collide with the platform, our ground becomes that platform. So if we bottom collide with the platform, we need to say our self ground gets assigned that very platform, and grounded is true. We're grounded already. Yeah, we're grounded is here. Okay, I'm just gonna put this with grounded just for consistency, I guess. So we got our bottom collide. Our left collide doesn't deal with the groundedness. This is what we need now. We need a check. So look, before we apply gravity, we say, hey, are we not grounded on our ground object? If so, grounded is false. And then reset our ground platform to be nil. Not nil, but dummy values. And actually, we shouldn't be putting a platform at a +1 location, because then we can be colliding with it. Because if we take a look at our platform class, X, Y, width, and height. That means our platform's on screen and not off screen. It's not in the graveyard, it's actually in the top left corner of the screen. So we probably want to fix that. Let me take a note of that. Because I don't want to change it right now, because if it breaks something, then I don't want to have to try to troubleshoot that at the moment. But change platform dummy values to be graveyard. Okay, so the last thing we need is our checkGrounded on our ground field, and then setting our grounded to be false if that's the case. So if we find that, god damn it, it would be in our vulture class. So right here, yeah, right before we apply gravity after all our collision detection on our platforms. So in our taxi, we've got our gravity applied up here, but we're actually going to move it down here after the collision. And we're going to say, if we're not grounded on our ground field, become false. And then we need to apply gravity here. I mean, we don't need to. That's just to make it consistent with our last class. We would put it there. So, let's see if that changes anything. Nope. It's so weird. It turns true on the bottom platform. Now, what is the platform? What is the platform you start on? That's platform 2. I think it's platform 2. So in our play state, platform 2 is that wide one. So I wonder if we say, in our taxi class, we say, hey, why don't you run the checkGrounded function on, it needs 2, our checkGrounded actually just needs 1 argument, and it's the thing to be grounded. We're gonna say a platform 2 because the function compares it to itself. So we're gonna say, hey, convert our checkGrounded boolean to a string, print that out. So I'm trying to see if, okay. So it is getting overwritten somewhere because it's saying we are checkGrounded on that platform up there. Oh God. Okay. It hurts, man, trying to think about this. I think our checkGrounded function is just busted. We're checking the buffer and everything, but sorry guys, I just feel a little defeated. I don't know. Retry we're going to be retrying our checkGrounded function, retry our global checkGrounded function on our taxi class. Because I feel like we just might be screwing up something in our implementation here for some reason. I'm just feeling so low energy. I programmed for the day. I'm not so proud of not figuring anything out, but sometimes you have days like that. I might revisit later today. I'm trying to get in the habit of programming in the morning. So I did it right when I woke up, basically. But I'm just not so motivated, I guess. I might come back later tonight and try to do a better job and post another episode. But I'm just kind of running on empty at the moment, so I'll say failed. All right. So yeah, the next step is going to be, instead of running, we're going to delete this checkGrounded function from our taxi when we might comment it out. And then instead of running our self checkGrounded, we're going to be running our checkGrounded function here in our play state. So we're going to say we've got to give it the two objects, and then see, and this isn't actually right. We need the buffer. God damn. Because right here, we wouldn't become not grounded anymore unless we walk off completely. If our squares completely walk off, but our sprites have legs in the middle, so it would be able to stand. They don't stand, they always have a DX, and that may be what saves us. We'll have to figure it out. It's getting so complex and it's hard for me to wrap my head around it. We're over like 2,200 lines of code that we wrote for this program, that's excluding all the libraries we're using. So it's absolutely getting unruly, but we are getting there. It's just hard. It's getting harder and harder to troubleshoot. So it's all the name of the game, you know. Joust. I'll catch you guys either later today or tomorrow. If I'm feeling particularly more energized, I'll come back and we'll see if we can fix something. Thanks for watching.